Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great and enjoying our podcast series. Get ready for another exciting podcast episode of Construction Tech-Tics, the podcast where we talk about contributions of inspiring women and innovators in construction technology. I'm your host, Tarika Jain, co-founder and business head at nCircle Tech. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about data interoperability in construction domain. Joining us today is someone who has been working tirelessly in interoperability and openBIM workflows. Let's give a warm welcome to Lela, Product Manager Data Exchange at Autodesk. Lela began her journey as an architect and quickly carved a dynamic path through BIM, sustainability, and product strategy, rising from technical sales to solution engineering and now product management. Fast forward today in 2025, she hit her 10 years milestone at Autodesk. Congratulations, Lela. She's a data interoperability ambassador and digital enthusiast who is all about openBIM, smarter and connected workflows. So today we are going to explore her journey, her vision to the future of data interoperability, and how her work at Autodesk is inspiring and empowering AEC professionals through data interoperability. So, Leila, welcome to Construction Tech-Tics podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Your journey in AC has been incredible, Leila. Can you take us back to the point and share what inspired your interest in BIM and data interoperability?
Yeah, it's really been quite a journey. When I started out as an architect, I was always fascinated by the idea of using technology and software to make our work a little bit easier, and honestly, a little bit more fun. And back then, it's almost 20 years ago, a lot of design and planning was still very manual. So we had a ton of drawings and endless coordination meetings, and it always felt like there had to be a better way. And as I first got into BIM around 2009, I started using Revit, and it felt really like discovering a whole new world. And suddenly we were not just drawing lines, but we were actually creating data rich models, that could inform the entire life cycle of a building. And that was really mind blowing for me. But I also realized that architects are not really the ones driving the digital transformation. So after that, I joined a construction company as a BIM specialist and later as a BIM manager, where we used a lot of different tools throughout the process of design and the construction. And there I realized how important it is for the different tools and the teams to speak the same language, sort of. And this led me to the topic of data interoperability. And I realized that if we could get the data flowing freely between the systems, whether it's for design, constructions, or the operations, then we could make the project smoother and reduce errors and unlock so much more potential. So I think in a way it was this curiosity to connect the dots and make the information more accessible that pulled me into the topics of BIM and interoperability. And honestly, I think that curiosity still keeps me going on today.
Very, very inspiring journey, Lela. And it's great to hear that your curiosity has still continued to drive your work. For those who are new to this topic, can you explain what does data interoperability means in AEC industry? And why is it such a recurring pain point or challenge?
That's a great question, Tarika. I would say at its core, data interoperability in AC is really about making sure that all the different tools and the platforms and also the stakeholders on a project can share and understand all the data they need seamlessly. If you think about a typical building project, you have architects, the engineers, contractors, facility managers, and so on. And most of them use a different software tool at some point, a different file format, and even have entirely different ways of working with the data. And without good data interoperability, you end up with lots of manual rework, exporting, converting files, re-entering data. And that's where the errors sneak in, because as soon as you start doing something manually, you are also prone to mistakes. And the reason it's such a challenge is because the AEC industry is very fragmented by nature. And every discipline tends to have its own language and its own set of tools. And in addition, the projects are also getting more and more complex, and the clients are demanding more data-driven insights and not just the drawings. So the interoperability is really about breaking down those silos and creating a common language for the data, whether it's through the open standards like the IFC, for example, or through the data exchange. And, it's not just a technical challenge, it's also about changing the mindsets and the workflows, which is why it actually keeps coming up as a pain point. And at the end of the day, if we get the interoperability right, it means, less friction, better collaboration, and ultimately also better buildings. And that's something definitely worth aiming for.
Yeah, definitely, that definitely. But that really clears up, a lot of things, breaking down silos and having a common way to share the data. And it's a key for more effective, efficient collaboration across different teams. On that note, I know you've been closely involved and working with Autodesk Data Exchange. Can you talk about what problem is it solving and how is it different from previous approaches? Also, what's the AC industry's response on it so far? What are the challenges or quick wins you would, what are the challenges that it is resolving? And are there any quick wins that you would like to recommend for teams struggling with interoperability? So it's a long question, but take your time.
But it's a great question. Thank you for that. Yes, the Autodesk Data Exchange is really about making it easier to share just the right data. And notice that I say data and not the files. Between different tools and teams without needing to share, an entire heavy Revit model or do some endless file conversions, IFC exports, and so on. Data Exchange flips that by allowing you to share smaller, more focused subsets of data. For example, just the facade system, the structural grid, the set of beams and columns that is really relevant for the other side. And because it's not a file, but cloud-based granular data, it doesn't require any file round tripping. And the response from the community so far has been really great, especially from teams that work in the multidisciplinary or multi-software environments. And people love that they can keep working in their own tools and just pull in the data that they really need. And as for the quick wins and the go-to solution, I think the Power BI is really great for this and lets you visualize the models in an entirely different way with focus on what really matters, and that's the data, right? So the dashboards can then be shared with all the stakeholders, no matter of their actual tech and the BIM skills. And they visualize not only the BIM data, but also allow you to pull in other data from AEC, like assets, schedules, the issues or costs, or even some additional data from CSV files, from the Excel and so on. And ultimately, they make this data then accessible to all the non-technical stakeholders as well, which is great, I think. And at the end of the day, it's all about working smarter and not harder and freeing up the time to focus more on the fun and the creative parts of the job.
Yeah, definitely. I also feel data exchange is a very good addition. It's like, it's a revolution, I would say, in data industry. It's freeing up, data tied to a one format. We are also finding data exchange connector for Power BI very useful for our customers. In fact, we have added chatbot support on top of it, and it has become a perfect solution for decision makers. You don't need to dig deeper into the data. It's data freedom. You get everything on Power BI dashboard. I find data exchange also very useful when you are connecting different products, different solutions. Uh, Say, for example, in digital factory automation, we have immensely used data exchange to connect different solutions, especially Autodesk solutions together, breaking down the silos and giving one source of truth to all the teams. So it's a very powerful tool for us as well. So looking ahead, what do you think the future looks like for data interoperability, and how do you see its impact and importance evolving in the future?
Oh, that's another great question. And it's really such an exciting time for our industry. And there are so many great examples from trailblazers like yourself who are already working on this next generation of workflows and showing us how the future can look like. And I think that the future of data interoperability is really going to be much more seamless and also user driven. And we are already moving away from these big, heavy file-based workflows towards a more flexible cloud-based data sharing. And I mean, you know what I'm talking about, all the work that you have been doing with the nCircle team is also already basically covering these future topics. And in the future, I see more and more stakeholders going down the same path. And the whole topic of the interoperability becoming sort of more invisible, but in the best way possible. And what I mean by that is that rather than spending hours worrying about file formats, file conversions, people will just share the data and think about how we share the photos today, for example. We don't think twice about whether it will open on someone else's phone or computer. If I now send you a file, I don't need to worry, does Tarika have an iPhone or a Samsung? I just send you a photo. And that's the level of ease I think we are also heading toward in AC. And obviously, there is still a long way to go and a lot to do, but there's also the exciting part and what we are here for. And I definitely also see a big role of the automation and the AI in helping us, make sense of all this data. And instead of just moving the data around, we'll be able to analyze it instantly and get insights and even maybe automate parts of design and the coordination workflows. And I think as buildings become more complex and as we focus more on the topics like sustainability and performance, having a good and clean and connected data is going to be absolutely crucial. And the owners and operators are also starting to demand more transparency and better digital records. So it's not just about design anymore, and the interoperability really needs to support the whole life cycle of the building. And in short, I think it's only going to be more important, and I guess we'll see a shift from being a nice to have or something like a specialist topic to something that's totally expected and also integrated into our everyday practice. And honestly, I can't wait to see that happen.
Wow, it's an exciting time. It's so exciting to imagine a future where, we can share data like, like pictures, like you mentioned, effortlessly empowering everybody in the project life cycle. You have touched so many important points from AI to life cycle data. I think a lot of our listeners could correlate to that shift. So, it's amazing, it's revolutionary, I would say. Now I would like to mention about, your YouTube channel. Your videos are very helpful. I watched your YouTube channel. It's really making, complex topics digestible for the AEC industry. So what inspired you to start creating content in the first place?
Oh, thank you so much. That really means a lot to hear that the content is useful and helping others. And to be honest, it really started like a small side project. Organically, I've always loved teaching and explaining complex topics in a simple way. And even back as I was working as an architect, I was the one running around helping the colleagues with Revit or also explaining how to set up the BIM workflow. And what really motivated me to put the content out was seeing how many of the people struggled with the same questions over and over again. You know, things like, why is my IFC export such a mess? And these are the questions I would hear over and over again in meetings, on projects, or at various industry events. And I tried writing a blog post and I also initiated the Autodesk IFC manual, but
Mhm.
somehow the message didn't get quite across. And at some point, someone told me, hey, why don't you make a YouTube video? And I was a little bit intimidated by that idea, to be honest. I'm still not super comfortable with talking on camera. But every now and then we need to push ourselves to do something that's maybe not in the comfort zone. So that's what I did with YouTube, and I'm really glad that it reached the people and that it helped so many. So I really get so much great feedback that it really helped understand the IFC and data interoperability. And now I'm also creating some videos on data exchange and the Power BI as well. And these are, great topics I like to talk about and I'm working on. And it's really great if it's also helping someone else out there. So,
Yeah, definitely more
yeah.
power to you, Lela. It's been, it is tough to, curate the content, come and speak on the camera and explain it in very simple ways, and listeners are able to take benefit of it. So definitely more power to you. I also recently come across one of your post about this new data exchange connector for Revit. Exciting stuff, huh? Can you share a bit more about what this connector enables and why is it so significant for users? And more broadly, have there been any new products or innovations you have come across recently that got you excited, particularly?
Yeah, absolutely. So happy you quoted Post. So the new data exchange connector for Revit is really a game changer. And after the Power BI connector, it is also the first connector for a BIM authoring tool to graduate from the beta.
Mhm.
And it basically lets you not only create the data exchanges from the Revit model, but also load the data exchanges into the Revit project, including some advanced options like grouping and so on. And another exciting project I would like to mention is definitely our data exchange for IFC, which I've
Mhm.
had the pleasure to work on with our amazing team. And this one lets you create data exchanges from subsets of the IFC files directly through the Autodesk docs. Basically, by filtering them based on the IFC classes, types, and other properties available in the IFC. And these data exchanges can then be loaded into other BIM authoring tools and, of course, also into the Power BI. And the best thing is, whenever the IFC file on ACC is updated, then the data exchange will also be automatically updated as well.
This is true data revolution, data freedom. I'm so happy to hear that, Leila, and I would love to seek feedback from our customers also how they are using it. I mean, that's incredible, and thanks to your work and Autodesk to for bringing these tools in everyone's hand. So one last question, Leila, definitely, and that is for our audience, especially our community, construction community. Which career tips or advice would you give to an AEC professional who would like to transition to product management?
That's another great question, and one I actually get quite a lot. And I always feel a bit humble answering it because, to be honest, I don't think I'm the perfect example of a super strategic career planner. I've mostly followed my curiosity and the passion for technology and sharing knowledge, and I did not really make plans, and I never planned working for the Autodesk or becoming a product manager. It kind of just happened, and I really like that kind of just following your heart and doing what you love, and then just seeing where it leads you to. And what really helped me was being vocal and visible about what I love and what I do, and whether it was through the blog, through the YouTube channel, or the LinkedIn. And by sharing what I was learning and creating, I built the personal brand, and that's probably one of the most powerful assets anyone can have today. And so I see many people struggle with, sharing their knowledge because they think it needs to be something entirely new and perfect. And, I also often doubt myself thinking, yeah, is this really useful for someone? Everyone knows that. Should I really share this? And a lot of times I end up not sharing things. So it happens also to me, but I think even if it helps just a person out there, then it's worth sharing. So my advice would really be show what you do, engage with the product managers and software vendors if you really want to become a product manager, provide feedback, build and share cool workflows and use cases. And I think above all, never stop learning, right? So besides that, I can really recommend getting some formal foundation in the product management, whether that's an like online training, a boot camp, or a book. And building a product is similar, but also very different from building the buildings, right? It requires a different mindset and a skill set and understanding the user needs and defining roadmaps, prioritizing features, and so on. But if you combine that continuous learning mindset with your AC expertise and the willingness to share it openly, then you'll be in a really strong position to make that a transition into the product management if that's what you are aiming for. And most importantly, I think do what you love and enjoy the journey.
Yeah, thank you, Leila, for sharing it. I feel so excited that last 5 to 10 years have been, really transformational in AC industry. It has opened not just, BIM professional roles, but also, product management, AI professionals, sustainability experts, and these are the really new age roles which allows women like us to, do wonders, use our knowledge, creativity, and perform so well in this industry. So I am really excited for the future, and thank you for sharing these tips. Definitely being visible makes a lot of difference, and it allows everyone to learn about you, create your own personal brand, and help in transition. So it's such a power-packed episode, Lela. Thank you for, taking us behind the scene about your personal journey, about data interoperability, digital transformation. How are you driving things and changes in AEC industry? From architect to product leader, your journey is a proof that innovation starts from curiosity, like you mentioned, and it evolves with purpose and do what you like. So thanks for sharing all your thoughts here. Your passion in open BIM, smarter workflows, and empowering AC community truly shines out here. And we know our listeners are walking away inspired and energized. At nCircle, we are also as just as driven to break these silos, unlock digital potentials and possibilities for AC industry. Interoperability is not just a buzzword now. We know that it's a necessity, and it's leaders like you who are helping shape it and helping us shape it better for a larger audience. So, folks, if this episode sparks something in you, don't forget to check out Women in Construction Tech community, where tech, talent, and transformation come together. Scan the code at the end of this video to get involved. Thank you for tuning in Construction Tech-Tics. We have got many more incredible conversations lined up. So stay curious, keep innovating, and let's keep building what's next together. Until then, next time, thank you.